Okay, so get this, we're going to dive into AI poetry today.
AI poetry?
Like, yeah, the stuff algorithms are writing.
Really? Algorithms writing poems?
Uh-huh, and it's getting good. Like, really good.
I mean, I know AI is getting good at a lot of stuff, but poetry, that's kind of surprising.
Right. You'd think that'd be like the last thing they'd conquer.
Yeah, like poetry is all about human experience, emotions, you know?
Exactly. Can an algorithm really understand, like, heartbreak or the beauty of a sunset?
Yeah, that's what I always thought.
But there is this study from 2024 by Porter and Matchery.
Okay.
And they had people try to figure out which poems were written by, you know, like famous poets, and which ones were written by AI mimicking those poet styles.
Oh, wow.
And you'd think people would be able to tell the difference, right?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, especially with poetry.
Right, like you'd think our human intuition would be like, nope, that's a robot.
Exactly.
But get this.
What?
They couldn't tell.
Really?
Yeah, they actually did worse than if they'd just guessed randomly.
So they were fooled by the AI poems.
Yeah, they thought the machine-made poems were written by humans.
That's kind of wild.
Right, like not only can AI write poetry, it can write poetry that fools people who presumably like poetry.
Yeah, it's really making you think.
Yeah, and it gets even weirder.
Weirder? How?
Not only were people fooled by the AI poems, they actually preferred them.
What? They liked the AI poems better?
Yeah, they rated them higher for things like rhythm and beauty.
I wonder why.
Right. Why would people prefer poems written by a machine?
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like, it's AI becoming more creative than us.
I don't know about that.
I mean, what's going on here?
Well, the researchers, they had some ideas.
Okay, what did they say?
Well, one thing they thought was maybe AI poems are just simpler.
Simpler.
Yeah, like easier to understand.
So you're saying, like, human poetry is too complicated?
Well, sometimes.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, like human poems, they can be full of metaphors and symbolism and allusions.
And sometimes I'm just like, what is this poet even talking about?
Right, exactly.
But AI, it's just more straightforward.
Yeah, it gets to the point, you know?
So maybe people like that, it's just easier to digest?
It could be.
Like you get the emotion without having to, like, work so hard for it?
Yeah, maybe that's why they find it more enjoyable.
That's an interesting thought.
And there's another thing.
Okay, what else?
The researchers, they also thought maybe because people find the AI poems easier to understand, they assume that means it must be human written.
Oh, so it's like tricking our brain.
Kinda, yeah.
Because we're so used to thinking, like, good art has to be made by a human.
Right, exactly.
So if we understand and enjoy a poem, we just assume it must be human-made.
Yeah, like our brains are trying to fit this AI thing into our old ways of thinking.
It's like AI is messing with our categories.
In a way, yeah.
This is blowing my mind.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
And it makes me think, could this preference for AI stuff be connected to, like, bigger trends we're seeing?
Bigger trends, like what?
Like the fact that people are reading fewer books these days?
Oh, yeah, that Gallup poll from 2022, right?
Uh-huh. Americans are reading less than ever before.
It's true.
Now, I'm not saying AI poetry is killing the novel or anything.
Yeah.
But maybe it's part of the problem.
It's possible.
Like, if people are getting used to this quick, easy hit of emotion from AI, maybe they're less likely to want to, like, struggle through a 500-page book.
Yeah, it's like, why bother when you can get instant gratification from AI?
Right. It makes you wonder, are we losing something important here?
Like what?
Like our appreciation for depth and complexity.
That's a good point.
It's a big question.
It is.
And kind of unsettling, honestly.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
But, hey, this whole AI and writing thing, it's not just about poetry, right?
Right.
What about how it's affecting students, like in college?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
Right. Like, are they using AI to write their papers?
Well, there's this study in Nature from 2024 by Zhao, Copps, and Kai, and they looked at how postgraduate students are using AI.
Grad students, huh?
Yeah, and they're using it in all sorts of ways, especially ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, that's the big one, right?
It is, yeah.
So what are they doing with it? Like, are they just feeding their essays into it and getting A's without doing any work?
Actually, it's not that simple.
Oh.
It's a lot more nuanced than that.
Really? Tell me more.
Well, for one thing, they're using it to help them understand their assignments better.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, they'll put the assignment prompt into ChatGPT and ask it to explain what they're supposed to do.
So it's like having a 24/7 TA who can, like, simplify the instructions?
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually pretty smart.
Right. And the students, they didn't see this as cheating or anything. They saw it as a way to make sure they were on the right track.
Like using a study guide or something?
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
And it's not just about understanding the assignment.
What else?
They're also using it to help with research.
Oh, how so?
Well, like they'll feed a long article or a research paper into ChatGPT
Okay.
and ask it to summarize the key points.
Oh, wow, that would save a lot of time.
Right, especially if you're reading tons of dense academic stuff.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean they're not really, like, engaging with the material deeply?
That's a good question, and it's something to think about for sure.
Yeah, it's like, are they really learning if they're just letting AI do the reading for them?
It's a valid concern, and it's something we'll need to explore more.
Definitely.
But it's important to note that they weren't just using it for, like, summarizing and stuff.
Oh, so they were using it for more than just the boring parts of research.
Yeah, they were also using it for more creative stuff.
Like what?
Like brainstorming ideas.
Right.
And structuring their essays, and even, like, writing those tricky introductory paragraphs.
So it's like having an AI brainstorming buddy.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, that's really cool.
It is, especially for students who struggle with getting started or, organizing their thoughts.
Yeah, I could see how that would be helpful.
Yeah, it can be a real game changer for some students.
But I'm guessing there are downsides too, right?
Of course.
Like, it all sounds a little too good to be true.
Yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses.
So, spill the tea. What are the students worried about?
Well, they have a lot of anxieties about using these tools.
Oh, even though they're finding them helpful?
Yeah, it's like they're standing on the edge of this exciting new world, but they're also kind of scared of what they might lose in the process.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
It is, isn't it?
So let's unpack those anxieties.
Okay.
What are students most worried about when it comes to using AI for their writing?
Well, one of the biggest fears is plagiarism.
Plagiarism, but you said the plagiarism detectors can't catch AI-generated text yet.
True, but it's still a big worry for them.
So it's not just about getting caught.
No, it's about the ethics of it.
They understand that using someone else's work, or in this case an AI's work, and passing it off as their own is wrong.
Exactly.
It shows they understand what plagiarism really means.
Yeah, it's about honesty and integrity.
And taking responsibility for your own work.
Right.
It's interesting that they're worried about this, even when it might be technically undetectable.
It is. It really shows their commitment to those values.
It's like a shadow hanging over them.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Makes you wonder if we need to rethink how we define plagiarism in this age of AI.
Definitely a question worth exploring.
Yeah, because the lines are getting blurrier.
Definitely.
But beyond plagiarism, what else are students anxious about?
Well, another big worry is losing their authentic voice.
Oh, like they're afraid their writing will become too robotic or generic.
Exactly.
They want their work to reflect their own unique style, not an algorithm.
Exactly. It's like a fundamental human need, that need for self-expression.
To feel like our work is a part of us.
Yes, exactly.
And this fear of losing their voice, it actually shows they're self-aware.
You're right.
They recognize that relying too much on AI could be bad for their own creative growth.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah, like if we outsource all our thinking and writing to AI, do we eventually lose the ability to think and write for ourselves?
Chilling thought, isn't it?
It is, but maybe this fear is also a good thing.
How so?
Like maybe it's a reminder to be more intentional about how we use these tools.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not about rejecting AI altogether,
No.
but about finding that balance.
Right. Using it in a way that helps us, not hurts us.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of generative AI literacy comes in.
Generative AI literacy.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier, but it's clearly becoming really important.
It is.
So let's break it down.
Okay.
What does it mean to be generative AI literate?
Well, it's more than just knowing how to use the tools.
Okay, it's about.
It's about understanding what they can and can't do,
Okay.
recognizing their biases, and engaging with them ethically and responsibly.
So it's like being a critical consumer of AI.
Exactly.
You don't just blindly accept what it gives you.
Yeah.
You question it, you analyze it
You use it strategically.
to achieve your own goals.
Exactly.
You're in the driver's seat,
Yes.
making conscious choices about how and when to use AI,
Absolutely.
and always keeping your own learning and growth as the priority.
That's it.